Yesterday, my wife and I got some really bad news from someone really close to us. I'm going to keep the story pretty vague um, because it just happened, and the people in the story, I'm sure, wouldn't appreciate me putting all this out on the internet. So I'm going to keep their names out of it. I'm going to keep our relationship to them out of it. People that watch my videos that know them probably already know the story by now. Someone very close to us, her and her husband have been trying for a long time to have children, and things weren't just working out. They weren't working out, and they're in their 30s, so it's definitely a little harder the older you get. And they did IVF, and I want to say they lost a pregnancy, and or some of the eggs didn't take, and then they were blessed with twins. And whatever your views are on IVF, whatever, but pregnancy is a blessing. Children are a blessing. And we got news yesterday that they lost one of the kids, one of the babies, the boy. And it's so awful to hear. It's so crushing to hear. I for someone who never wanted to have children, when my oldest son was first born, as soon as they took him out and he started crying, I started crying. Like something definitely changes you when you have kids. You have a way different view on kids, whether you wanted them or not. That changes immediately as soon as they're your own. So I can't imagine what they're going through right now. To top it off, they were out of town on a vacation when all of this happened. So not only are they dealing with the loss of one of their firstborn children, they're also in a totally different state. And, because of how severe everything is, and they're trying to keep the other baby alive. They're trying to stop her from continually going into labor so they can, so the baby can get a little bigger so then they can deliver her, the female, safely. So they're trapped, and who knows how long, even if everything goes well with the other twin, who knows how long they're going to have to stay in the hospital with that baby. This is a life-changing experience. My wife and I, our third son we just had, he just turned a year old. He ended up in the ICU for about 2 weeks after he was born. Something to do with, babies have fluid in their lungs, and usually when they go through the birth canal, the constriction on the chest. They cough up the fluid and it produces some proteins or something, and they can start breathing oxygen. And my wife had a C-section because all of her babies have been C-section. They wouldn't let her go vaginal, so he doesn't pass through the birth canal, and they said it's pretty common, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And of course, it's gonna be hard to not cry. And of course, all the doctors and all the nurses, they see this all the time. They're like, he's gonna be fine. But when you see your baby hooked up on a bunch of monitors and tubes, it's hard. My wife posted, on his birthday, like a timeline, of him growing up over the year. And the first picture was him in the hospital bed on tubes. And I asked her why she post that. She's like, well, this is where he started. It's just something I don't want to relive. And my heart really breaks for this couple. We haven't had the best relationship with them. There's some personal issues over the years, but it doesn't mean that I would ever wish this on anyone. I hope everything works out for them, and they can get through this, and their baby's fine. Because nobody deserves this, it's so awful. I feel so bad for them. And to top it off, I reached out to a mutual friend who's also close with him and asked if he had talked to so-and-so, and he's like, no, I texted him over the weekend and texted him on Sunday and hadn't heard back from him. What's up? And I kind of told him a little bit of what happened just to catch him up, and probably wasn't my place to do that, but they're close. And then he tells me that his father-in-law just passed away. His wife was really close to her dad and really struggled moving away from them. We all lived in California. They moved to Tennessee, and she really struggled moving away from her dad, and I'm sure she's crushed right now. And getting this news about our friend losing the baby is going to be even more heartbreaking for her. And it's just hard, just getting older and dealing with stuff like this. Death is a scary thing. Once you slow down, wasn't something I ever was concerned myself with, but the older you get, you start having to deal with it more, I guess. So if, the 60 subscribers I have now, if you guys can please pray for them and, keep them in your prayers, and hopefully things turn out all right for the remainder of this journey they're on. It's going to be a long battle. They've already been through so much just trying to get pregnant, and now this. Yeah. I think that's all I'm going to say about it. Just please keep them in their prayers. Please hug your loved ones, because you never know. You just never know.